Okay, well, hopefully everyone's liked and subscribed now. And hey, why not also consider going to the Patreon at patreon.com/secondwind group and chipping in every month.
He's still got energy to show off those dance moves. Oh my goodness, I don't think you're supposed to do that on network television.
Back in the day, I smoked a lot of pot.
He's going full stinker! Oh, dang it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You accidentally drew Nick as a shark.
Yes.
Did we learn nothing from the 80s? Everyone's got daddy issues. You've got daddy issues. Is this too easy a bit? This feels too easy a bit.
He's a very sexy man.
He's everything that Cloud isn't. Put him in S tier.
Agreed.
I'm gonna share with you is my collection of buzzers. Oh.
She couldn't please me. White glove service with the brick. I am Luigi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rewind, episode number 51 for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Marty Saliva here, joined by Darren Mooney, Jack Packard, and producer Eric. And this is it. Sometimes we do lollygagging at the beginning, and we do a little bit of like wandering around the block. And we're not doing that because A, we got a hard out. B, Spider-Man's in theaters. And C, I only had two. In my mind, I was like, I'll get the third one by the time I finish this. I didn't have the third one.
Marty, that's how well we're tightening it up. Only 2 out of 3 points. Yeah.
But yeah, we're here much like last episode that focused on the Odyssey. We're doing the same thing for Spider-Man, Brand New Day, which released in theaters to insane commercial success, historic commercial success, which we'll talk about. We'll start off with non-spoiler thoughts on the movie, as well as I want to just touch on the fact that it is, Darren, you might have said Spider-Man is recession-proof, which I believe that is 100% true. Doesn't matter how fatigued we get on superheroes, Spider-Man is recession-proof.
Batman and the X-Men. Like, that's why like Marvel have the X-Men in the bag and are just like, look, no matter what happens with like Doomsday and Secret Wars, we got the X-Men.
You know what? I think the Dark Phoenix film says different to whether the X-Men can be recession-proof.
But third time, Marty. Third time is the charm.
But we'll get to her soon enough. Let's start with some non-spoilers. This will be a non-spoiler, a little bit up the top of Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Jack, can you give us a little quick? What did you think of the fourth Spider-Man film in this current MCU?
Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
I have a lot. I have a lot of thoughts, and not all of them make sense. So I'm hoping to work them out here live. Overall, I think I had a lot of fun at the movie. I think it is a very good comic book movie. I do put that asterisk on there very specifically. The semi snarky thing I can say is now this movie has finally kind of like tipped the scales beyond being a movie and more being a giant sized annual. This was a movie that I personally think sacrificed character development for more crossover potential. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I liked all the crossovers as someone who has watched every goddamn thing Marvel has put out. To me, this was very satisfying. To me and me alone. But there were a couple needle drop moments. There were a couple character beats that fell incredibly flat because they didn't have time to build them up. That being said, great action movie, really great Spider-Man movie. I'm still here for it. I'm still here for the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, except for No Way Home. I
largely agree with you here. I did a rewatch of only No Way Home. But before
what
this,
a choice!
It was the night before, and I was like, I know this movie's like literally kind of picking up, and so I'm like, let's just have that fresh in my mind because I've only seen No Way Home twice. I saw it in theaters, and then I saw it when it came to streaming or VOD or whatever.
Okay, you didn't say No Way at Home.
No Way at Home. I should have, because that movie, in my opinion, is a magic trick that works once and does not work a second time.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that movie, No Way Home is like a deeply flawed rewatch. And you kind of don't notice it the first time because you're taking in everything, and then you get this incredible sleight of hand trick where it's like, holy shit, that Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are there. And so I am curious. I am positive on this movie with the asterisks of I am curious what a second watch will be like. Darren, what did you think of Brand New Day?
Okay, to start out with some of the positives, I actually, but always a
that's
good,
where we're
like,
going.
angle.
That's where we're going, Hunter.
But like, yeah, I think it looks good. I think it honestly looks good, and it looks to Marty's point. Marty watched like No Way Home. I watched all of the live action Spider-Man movies and Across the Spider-Verse rep for this, and I will say like the John Watts Spider-Man movies don't look great is the more diplomatic way of phrasing how those movies are made. They are very clearly the most made on a green screen in Atlanta movies that have ever been made in some senses, even more than something like, say, Civil War. I do think, to give credit where it's due, I think this movie looks good, and it looks really good, and it does things like it has lights and shading and color, and they use like real locations in like New York where they film stuff. They do practical sets and practical stunts as well. There's obviously green screen and CGI in there, and you know, some of it is distracting, but a lot of the stuff is done really well and done in camera, and I think honestly looks really good. It's a very enjoyable movie. I think the cast is incredibly charming. I think this is, at the risk of denigrating like Tom Holland, I do think the Chris Nolan boot camp worked for him. This is the best performance I think he has given as Spider-Man. I think this is the movie where I really do feel invested in the idea of Peter Parker as an actual character. And look, there are story reasons for that, in that like this is the first one where he doesn't really have a mentor figure. He doesn't really have a grown-up who's telling him what to do. There is several other crossover characters in it, but they are treated more like peers than as like adults or supervisors or babysitters in the way they were in the previous three films. But I think Holland is really good here. The rest of the cast is also very, very good. Zendaya on a generational run. I don't think the character is particularly well developed. I think she is very good. And I think there's like one showcase scene for Zendaya in particular in the movie that is just incredible, and like showcases or demonstrates the worth of having her in the role. I think like in terms of crossovers, Bernthal is here, and I think Bernthal is very good. I have kind of like
Bernthal is here.
I think the best thing about him is it's clear him and Tom Holland have a decade-long chemistry together, and that is very nice.
That is exactly it. Like where it's like, I have, you know, like, look, I'm not a huge stickler for comic accuracy or comic lore or like comic book representation on film. You're making an adaptation, adapt properly. Take liberties with the source material and the characters and reinvent them in ways you need to reinvent them. But like the Punisher, as played by John Bernthal, will to me always be like John Bernthal. He will always be a John Bernthal character. And I think like part of the magic of part of the magic of this movie, of Brand New Day, is that like it lets Holland and Bernthal play off one another, and lets Bernthal do the Bernthal thing, which is incredibly charismatic, of being the gruff, vaguely assholish, extremely New York guy who's a bit of a dick, but also deep down has a secret heart of gold. And somehow Tom Holland has managed to chip away at his pretension and got on his good side. And the two of them just get on, even though Bernthal can't really admit that they do. And it's a really charismatic, like it's a really engaging relationship between the two of them. And I like that a lot. Other than that, though, I do find myself running into a bunch of problems with the movie. I do think like it suffers from a lot of the same problems that a lot of the earlier Spider-Man movies in the MCU have, which is that at times it feels less like a Spider-Man movie than it does a grab bag of intellectual property. It puts the brand in Brand New Day, as it were. I don't mind doing like the Punisher and Spider-Man, because the Punisher and Spider-Man are intrinsically linked characters. The Punisher first appeared in a Spider-Man comic. He is basically a Spider-Man supporting character, right? But it's like things like the addition of Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, who is all over the trailers. the Hulk literally he parachutes into the movie and he literally parachutes out of the movie at the end of his sequence. He's in it for a tight 10 minutes. We got Ruffalo for a tight week while shooting this movie. And it's like, why does the Hulk need to be in this movie? Why can't you use, say, the Lizard? Or we're not going to talk about spoilers, but like there's a villain in this movie, and that villain is very clearly somebody who is modeled on an existing Spider-Man character, Mr. Negative, but is not the existing Spider-Man character, Mr. Negative, because we have to do other stuff to tie into the IP. And there's a lot of that happens throughout the movie where every time the movie seems to be starting to do something, and the same thing happens with like No Way Home. Like, to Marty's point, like No Way Home is a magic trick. It works very well in theaters. It works incredibly well with the crowd, and there's a lot to be said for that. The joy of the cinematic experience. And I do think, like, looking at the box office for Brand New Day, people are like, where did all this love for Spider-Man come from? And it's like, you guys are forgetting that, like, No Way Home resuscitated movies in the middle of the Omicron variant. Like, that movie made $2 billion when there was a COVID surge. There's not a COVID surge right now, and you are seeing what Spider-Man can do. But, like, that movie gestures at being about things like immigration and kind of refugees. There's the whole thing of, like, can you send these people home to a place where they are going to die? Or do you have a moral obligation to look out for these people, even though you didn't ask for them to come? And that is a movie that, to me, is gesturing in the general direction at a time when America is kind of struggling with that question of something that is very, like, weighty and very, like, meaty in a very silly comic book way. But the movie has no real interest in doing that because it's much more interested in, hey, we got 3 Spider-Men and a sinister Sinister 5. Will that work? Got a Sinister 5.
Well, and really, it's more of a Sinister 4 because one of them is always trapped in a van or something.
Sinister 4.
Rhys Evans was definitely on set. Definitely on set. But, like, to the point about this movie, like, this movie, for me, really works when it's, like, gesturing towards the personal stuff. And, like, it is a movie that wants to be about things, and it's a movie that wants to say things, and it's using a character that everybody loves to engage with, something that feels, like, very relevant and very now. It's, you know, we're not talking about spoilers, I'm not going to go into specifics, but, like, it is a movie that is kind of about the male loneliness epidemic. It's about the idea of what happens when we lock ourselves in rooms and we cut ourselves off from society and we disconnect ourselves from friends. What if Spider-Man were a workaholic? Is the kind of premise that I'm like, you know what? I can run with it. But the problem is that every time the movie starts to get a little bit of wind in its sails going in that direction, it's like, and by the way, the Hulk is here. Or, by the way, we're setting up this movie that's not going to come out for another 3 years. Or, by the way, also The Punisher's here from Netflix. You guys like Netflix. Also, The Hand from Daredevil. You guys like, people like The Hand from Daredevil. They're here too.
Everybody really liked specifically season 2, like the second
the
half
Punisher
of
and The
season
Hand.
2.
Yeah.
Oh, you. That was the half you didn't like of season 2 of Daredevil. My bad.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm very mixed on it. Is the long, rambling, wandering answer to give on this?
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I think it's a significant improvement on No Way Home, but I still, like, I find myself, like, to Marty's point about, like, prepping No Way Home and watching this, and that being an experience that really hurt No Way Home, I do feel like watching the Spider-Man movies and watching this is an experience that hurts this, where I've come from watching, like, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, but also watching Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and it's like, I have seen Spider-Man movies that like work incredibly well, that are doing all the stuff that this is doing and are like hitting home runs out the park. This is doing the stuff that it's doing and it's mostly working. And I do find myself a little frustrated by that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think a big part of this movie working for me is that, you know, even if it's not in New York, it is filmed in a place. A real place with real natural lighting and real buildings, as opposed to when you rewatch No Way Home, everything, like, it is so noticeable at home when you go to, like, Doctor Strange's little, like, dungeon where he keeps all the bad guys, or the set piece at the end, that you're like, none of this is a real anything. Like, everything is composited.
Where Jon Favreau and Tom Holland are at a grave in New York. And it is very clear that even though the two of them are in the same shot, those two actors were never in the same physical space at the same time. And you're like, it's a shot in a graveyard. You just need to shoot them with the sky behind them, and you can't do that. Anyway,
and this isn't spoiling, like, the end credits of this movie, of Brand New Day, the actors' names appear over B-roll of New York. Like, very clearly New York City, and just B-roll of people going about their day, people playing chess in the park, people sitting outside a bodega, shooting hoops at a basketball court. And like that to me almost felt like a bit of a thesis statement of like, look, it's almost like the dumb when Kevin Feige saw Chloe Zhao made the Eternals, like, you could use the sun to light a scene. That's
shoot outdoors.
But yes, I still I really enjoyed the disparate parts of this, but it did feel like you could almost I think the Mr. Negative Martin Lee thing is like spot on, to where it's almost like at certain points you go like, ooh, this was supposed to be one thing, and then when it was like, well, can we make it the start of something else? It became something else entirely. And I think that part of it, which I mean, I feel like we should get to that soon. That performance is really good.
Yes.
But it does feel like it is at the detriment of a quote unquote Spider-Man movie.
Right. The villain is a wonderful villain, acted superbly. Whoa! I tried a second take of
Her hair is great. Her hair is
that superb.
A really tight curl. Don't get it wet. The villain is wonderful, but at a certain point, like the entire middle of the movie, it is no longer a Spider-Man movie. It is that villain's movie, and we get to learn a lot about that villain. That, you know, without getting too deep into spoilers, we learn a lot about that villain that we know will have zero consequences in Spider-Man's world.
Sure,
going forward.
Yeah, we'll see if these two meet again. I mean maybe.
I mean, we do love that. They're a great pairing in the comics. There are so many comics featuring Spider-Man and mystery villaon. Yeah,
I don't think that's true.
I like Jack being like, I don't think that's true, but I'm not going to call you on it. Yeah.
Hold on. Because, you know, for a while he was with her. No, but that was a different one.
Yeah, that's a different one. Yes.
Listen, maybe there's
By
just.
the way, I don't like the fact we're calling them ones. That feels a little racist. But anyway, and by ones,
you know what?
we mean
maybe
women.
we just shift the love triangle around a little bit, and we could shift which characters are involved in that love triangle. It could be great.
Right.
Yeah, we'll get into spoilers shortly, because I think a lot of that has to we have to go into spoilers to talk about this movie. But yeah, I did want to dig just a little bit into that. We were talking about the box office. Spider-Man Brand New Day had the biggest all-time opening weekend in U.S. history. 360 million. That's 3 million more than Avengers Endgame. It had a global 930 million weekend. Has already broken $1 billion. The second fastest movie to break $1 billion after Endgame. So yeah, Darren, we were joking about earlier. We could say anything you would want when a Fantastic Four underperforms, or when a Supergirl underperforms,
or like Captain America or whatever.
Yeah, or even Superman last year. Like any of these movies, like Spider-Man and Batman, and it feels like, and then, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine. I guess, you know, if that's tangential X-Men, you know, feel like people still come to these things. I think part of it is like, I do think in an era of parasocial relationships, people like the fact that Tom Holland and Zendaya are married in real life. I genuinely think
they pulled a reverse Geely is what you're arguing.
It is a reverse Geely. I think people like this. People like being like, look, they're together and they're working together. That seems twice in one summer. That's incredible.
And they're actually really incredible. Like, I love the interviews. Like, the press tour for this has been, and the fact that the press tour with this, because it involves Zendaya, because it involves Bernthal, because it involves Holland, because it overlaps with the Odyssey, they've been doing like mutual press together, the three of them.
Hot Ones was literally about both movies. It was Bernthal and Tom Holland eating wings, talking about both movies.
And making pilgrimage in Ireland and stuff like that. They're just good hangs. And, you know, I am as skeptical of anybody of the like new press cycle thing where we make them bake cakes or whatever it is.
Sure, play with puppies and
but like, I do honestly think Zendaya and Holland are really nice together. Zendaya and Bernthal are really charming together. And like, spending 4 weeks with them is not exhausting at all. Like, you imagine that spending 4 weeks on a press tour with 3 celebrities would be draining and exhausting for them and for the audience. But somehow, when Zendaya's complaining that like she doesn't want Tom Holland to help her finish the Insomniac Spider-Man games, you're like, that is really cute. Or when Zendaya is just like looking at her husband, like being impressed at how well he's acting, you're like, that's really sweet and genuine. And like,
and I will say I would say a little negative on Holland's performance in The Odyssey. last episode. I ended up seeing the Odyssey again. I warmed up a little bit to the performance just because I do think the purpose of some of those scenes is to get dog walked a little bit by Damon and Hathaway.
And Damon.
Yeah, like that's
like
kind
with
of the purpose.
Zammo's the one who's a little rude. Like,
but man, he's great as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Like, he's great. He brings a great physicality to the role. Like, he's funny. It's heartbreaking seeing him sad and everything. So, yeah, impressive stuff there. Do we want to jump into
before we get into spoilers?
Okay.
I do want to give a shout out. Like, it triggered something when you said when you were talking about the Insomniac games. I really liked a lot of the action set pieces in this movie, and a lot of them actually did feel very Spider-Man video game. And I say that as a huge compliment because I love those games, and the combat in those games feels really impressive and really smooth and very Spider-Man-y. And so I don't know if they were pulling from some of that.
They were. They're on record as saying they were. Yeah, they were inspired by
Holland's a huge, and he's talked about like he played the game the night before the premiere and stuff like that, and he tried to involve as many of the finishing moves as possible. But I think you could see the influence of the game. And like we're talking about Mr. Negative, right? And obviously, like non-spoiler for the movie, Mr. Negative is not in the movie, but it feels like the movie was kind of written with the possibility of it being a Mr. Negative movie. And Mr. Negative's big thing is A, he's a character who's created during the comic book event Brand New Day, hence the like tying to the name of the movie. But B, he's a character who has like elevated himself to like near the like lower top tier or the upper middle tier, depending on how you want to rank it of Spider-Man's rogues, based purely on the fact that he is in the video games. So like the games feel like they're very central. And like to piggyback off Jack's point, like I like that one of the things I liked about like Homecoming, and I kind of grew a bit more tiresome with Far From Home and No Way Home, was like Sam Raimi perfected like swinging between skyscrapers. Like Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies do swing between skyscrapers, and it's incredible. And one of the smartest things that like Homecoming does is to go, we can't really compete with that. So what we'll do is we will take Spidey out of his element and we'll drop him in, say, suburbia or on the Staten Island ferry, or we'll have him go out to what's the beach or whatever, but we'll have him on a plane and all this sort of stuff. Let him go to Coney Island. Let him go to Coney Island. Let him go to the Washington Monument. We'll put him in positions where he can't do the swinging, so we're not being directly compared to Raimi. And I thought that was very smart in in Homecoming. I grew increasingly irritated when Far From Home was like, and this time we'll put him in Europe, where he also can't do any swinging. And I'm like, okay, you guys are really exhausting this. The next one better take place in Manhattan. They're like, okay, you'll get a little bit of swing at the start, but the climax takes place on an island in the middle of the bay. And I'm like, come on. So
and when he goes to fight Electro and Sandman, it's just going to be in the middle of a field.
And I will say that, like, I like that this movie uses the city well, and like it does swinging really well. Like, to get back to that Insomnia point, one of the things that the Insomnia, you mentioned the fighting, but the swinging in the Insomnia games is incredible. It's an incredible dynamic, and you feel so satisfied when you do it right. It's so like it's the minimum standard of like, just I am proud of myself for pulling this off. And I think the movie gets that very well. Like, I honestly do love the fact the movie is like, we're putting him in Manhattan, we're letting him swing through Manhattan. We are taking advantage of something the movies, to my mind, have been a little afraid to do over the past decade, and I'm glad to see it. Yeah,
I think. So and you know, like they have their first person swinging, which is phenomenal. The sequence in which Spider-Man is swinging with MJ, and like we just kind of get acting. We get like quiet moments of reflection while doing this fantastical thing. To me, that was. I'm pretty mixed on this movie, overall very positive, but like I do feel this movie genuinely understands what we love about Spider-Man comic books, which is like these quiet moments of reflections during fantastical things. I want to say one of the rarest achievements in those Insomnia games is riding the subway, which is how you fast travel in those games, because no one ever wants to fast travel. Everyone wants to swing everywhere.
I didn't know you could use the subway in those games.
Because why would you fast travel when you can swing across the city? There you go. That's what you need to know. Is if you ever fast travel in the game, you use the subway, but no one ever does it. That's how good it feels in the games. But I guess like to is keeping spoiler free about it. There were so many moments while watching this movie where I was transported to a younger me falling in love with Spider-Man comic books. And I think they did a really fantastic job of adapting a lot of that comic book feel, the vibes, into the movie. But there's some story problems because of it, and now we can go to spoilers.
Dun, dun, dun. Perfect. So from here on out, these will be spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day, though, I would say it was kind of a poorly kept secret. I feel like they should have just said it from the beginning, and not had to dance around it and put Sadie Sink in these interviews where she's like, I can't talk about who I'm playing. And I'm like, this is annoying. Just fucking do it. If your movie hinges on a 5-second reveal, then your movie doesn't have any the structural integrity to exist as a movie.
It's the kayfabe thing. It's like the edging. It's spoiler version of edging, which is the thing that irks me about spoiler culture. Is there are spoilers that exist, and there are movies that can be spoiled for you by having things revealed that will upset your understanding of the movie the first time around, right? But what these discussions about spoilers always end up being about is the premise of the movie, and it's always the most banal, generic thing where it's I remember how was Thanos demands your silence coming out of Infinity War. And the spoiler there is that the movie ends with the cliffhanger from the comic Infinity Gauntlet, which was released during the 1980s. And it's that's not really, you can't call that a spoiler. And the same thing here where it's Sadie Sink is playing a redhead with abilities that appear to be psychic in nature. Also, we already have an MJ, so who could she possibly be playing?
Gotta be Typhoid Mary. I know her from Marvel Snap. She's got red hair.
I love that this is secretly a Daredevil movie with the ham Typhoid Mary.
Yeah.
And we also know, because of the immense amount of Doomsday trailers, that the X-Men are going to be a thing within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So who could she possibly be playing?
And the tying of the announcement of various casting, there's the casting, Emma Frost has been announced, I believe, officially.
Samara Weaving.
Samara Weaving, which is great casting, but it's also
one of the good
weird.
Nepo babies, one of the good ones.
Nepo
niece. There we go.
She was a baby at some point, right? She didn't just come out of the womb ready or not.
Came out of the womb.
Here I come, yeah. But also, I feel if you're casting Samara Weaving, who is 20 years older than, obviously Sadie Sink, that guy, you're missing something there.
She can't be 20 years older than Sadie Sink.
She's 37. She's the same age as Margot Robbie, which is insane to me. Where it's I was always there's the younger there's the younger up and coming Margot Robbie. Nope, they're about the same age.
I don't know how age works, to be honest. Yeah, age is very once 20 to 40 is a nebulous zone if everyone kind of looks the same. I don't know how that works. But yeah, a friend of mine I saw the movie with, she likes the Spider-Man movies, is certainly not a big comic book fan. When the camera zooms in on the name and it says Jean Grey, a bunch of the theater went, and she turned to me and said, "Who the fuck is that?" And I'm she's one of the X-Men, and she's okay. And so it is a weird, I think there's a large chunk of the audience is just going to be okay, sure. And the thing is, her powers very cool in the movie. Finally, the video game Slitterhead getting its cinematic comeuppance. It's literally the exact same powers as Slitterhead. There's a 30-foot distance in Slitterhead that you can slitter into people, and I like that she was slittering all over the place in this movie. So good on you, Jean Grey.
No, and a very good use of kind of nerfing Jean Grey's powers and making them more acceptable, or making them easier to read from a cinematic audience's point of view. Obviously, the comic books, you can kind of do whatever you want, and Jean Grey's powers have been very nebulous throughout the years. Like all superheroes, so that's not a Jean Grey specific thing, but in general, I think psychic powers are very difficult to understand, and so we're just going to start with she has the ability to manipulate people within a 30-foot radius. Easy to understand.
Mm-hmm. We have learned the lesson from Secret Invasion. We're not doing that again.
Oh god.
But yeah, so that's I think therein lies one of the movie's weird push and pull problems, if you want to call it that. It does the same thing that the first Spider-Man movie and the third Spider-Man movie do, where it kind of becomes someone else's movie at a certain point, where it's like first movie can kind of be an Iron Man movie, the third movie can kind of be a Tobey and Andrew movie, and this for an extended period kind of becomes a Jean Grey movie, kind of becomes an X-Men movie, and
Truly.
not a bad one that I think has cool themes and cool set pieces, and the fact that she's got a bunch of scenes going up against Tramell Tillman, who's fucking awesome, obviously, on Severance. It was probably the best part of the last Mission Impossible movie. Awesome, but kind of felt like, well, what if we would have used this time to further kind of develop Spider-Man's downward spiral and you know, more scenes of him, like the will he, won't he reconnect with his friends and everything. Yeah, I don't know. I feel conflicted about that.
Agreed. To me, like because we're in full spoiler territory, like I can talk about kind of like the moment that it really lost me, and I started kind of looking back through the whole movie, which is the Peter Parker's big issue during the movie is because of his self-isolation, because he has removed himself from any support network, all of his friends, he doesn't know anyone as Peter Parker. His mutation is starting to grow more aggressive, and he is changing. He's changing a little bit into Man Spider. It's also very Venom coded, which I thought was weird, but that's fine.
I think I have some theories on why it's kind of Venom coded, because I think this was originally going to be a movie about the symbiote.
Right. And so, like he gets his mutation surges, and he gets more aggressive, and he gets stronger, and his spider sense gets overactivated, and then at the end of the movie, so yeah, like Marty was saying, there's a will they, won't they get back together with his friends moments throughout the movie, and then during the big confrontation in which he is trying to rescue / stop Jean Grey, there is a line drop that I think was supposed to be a big important needle drop, in which he says, "I'm both Peter Parker and Spider-Man," which was answering a question that was literally never asked.
It was asked precisely one line earlier, Jack, and therefore was probably because she does, like, she's controlling the hand, and she's like, "You have to decide: are you Peter or are you Spider-Man?"
But the rest of the 2 hours of the movie did not ask that question. Oh no, and I don't mean to be mad at you, Darren. I am mad at the movie for fumbling such a big character moment to literally give us the Val Kilmer Batman Forever line drop. But not
Batman
earning.
I choose to be
right. Yeah. Not earning anything Val Kilmer did. I stand by Batman Forever.
So do I. I just don't like Batman Forever. I will stand by Batman Combat Forever.
But I'll fight for its rights to exist. It's also it's a hard pill for me to swallow. I get at the end of No Way Home what happens with Aunt May, who, shout out to Marissa Tomei, by the way. Machi.
I love how much of like the first Homecoming, like not the first Homecoming, but the first of the movies in this sequence, it says like we're very different from the Raimi movies. Yeah. Everybody wants to fuck Aunt May, and I'm like, okay, that's a weird angle. Like,
but it's kind of working. Yeah, heavy Misato energy from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Big fan of it. Yeah,
don't need to hit it as hard as like. There's a point where they go to Chinese food, and like they're like, Pierre's like, just so we're clear, this waiter who has no other scene in the movie wants to fuck Aunt May, and I'm like, okay. You made your point, movie.
But no, I get why after that he's like, I can't have this happen to my girlfriend, my best friend, so everyone needs to forget about me. I need to be alone. No one can know who I am because it would put them in harm's way. And so that creates the isolation. Yeah. The problem after that is, well, he doesn't need to protect superheroes. So why is he not he could find a found family in, he kind of does in like Florence Pugh or in Bruce Banner or in go back to Doctor Strange or the Punisher. Like these people knowing
Frank Castle.
Sure. Like, these people knowing his identity though wouldn't harm them because they're all murdering psychopaths. So, like you can get into the Russian baths with Florence Pugh and take your mask off, and it's fine. Like she's not any harm she's going to get in. It's not your fault. That kind of thing.
Right.
So I feel like he's choosing not to have friends at that point. You got
but I do think that to me this was the big problem, and I think my favorite of these movies is Homecoming. I think Homecoming is as close to kind of this perfect meld of like the Spider-Man ideal and a strong theme. We get a really strong theme in Homecoming that has a tremendous payoff of Spider-Man saying, "Oh, actually, I do need to go back to basics. I can't join the big leagues because I am not ready." And I have looked inside of myself.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you don't deserve it. That's
exactly.
Yes,
oh, and you know what? I don't deserve it yet. Let me go back, which is a huge character moment and really wonderful theming throughout the movie. But here we get this lovely theming of like isolation is literally turning me into a monster. But there's not a good payoff moment for that.
Homecoming also has a reveal that actually really works, even on repeated viewings, with Michael Keaton being her dad.
Her dad, be Liz's dad.
Him like putting his hand over the back of the seat of the car with the gun to give him the talk. I'm like, that's so good still. So good.
Even like, again, for movies that look very bland, the sequence where like he's in the car and the traffic light goes green and the side of his face is lit entirely green. And it's Michael Keaton and it's like, it's good shit. And Michael Keaton has like one of those faces where it's like, you just shine a light on that and that's a movie.
Yes.
John Watts, what if you do that for another 120 minutes?
No,
you got that dog in you. I know you do.
I think that they
you got that wolf in you. Yes.
My problem is I can see where probably an earlier version of this movie had more meat on that bone, but it was cut due to more crossovers. We get him kind of like choosing like a storage unit instead of an apartment. We also slightly frustrating, and I know this isn't really important to this movie, we have no concept of how he makes money. We have no concepts about like how he lives his life as Peter
making
Parker.
money. That thing to me is not a problem because I am sure he was in Tony Stark's will. Like he probably got $1 billion from Tony Stark, right? He was like a surrogate son to him.
But he can't
like when he wiped everybody's memory.
Who Peter Parker is.
But that's still his bank account. It was still in his bank account. It's not like because no one remembers who Peter Parker is, he doesn't have a bank account anymore.
And by the way,
I have several questions about the mechanics of the spell, but we can go into that.
Oh
later.
yeah, there's.
I don't want to like go down that road because at the end of the day, you're right. Like how he earns money doesn't matter. But I feel like that line of storytelling could give us more room to explore how he's feeling lonely, and that kind of information was cut so we could get a scene with the Hulk in it.
This is the thing where it's not a comics accuracy thing, but it is like there are any number of like interesting character and narrative angles that the film just cuts off. You mentioned that idea of like how he earns money, because obviously like I think this is trying to be a movie about loneliness, and like Destin Daniel Cretton has said it's a movie about loneliness, and Amy Pascal explaining why Jean Grey is in the movie has said it's a movie about loneliness, and it's like one of the reasons that like young people feel alien and lonely is because they work in the gig economy and they don't have any security and they feel like anonymous cogs in a machine. It's like, so you can explore that. Like the Raimi movies do like really excellent work with like Peter doing all these dead end jobs that he can't keep because he's Spider-Man. But those jobs look very different from the jobs that you would be doing today, where he'd be doing all of this anonymously at a computer and whatever. And, that's an interesting character angle. And there's other things like the involvement of Frank Castle, where like the most fundamental thing about the Punisher is that he kills people. And I'm like, Peter should kind of have a bigger problem with that than, go home, Frank. Let's hang out and be buds. Where it's like, Peter lost somebody, whether it's Uncle Ben or it's Aunt May, apparently, in the last movie. And as a result of that, like, internalized the idea that every life is sacred and every life should be protected. You protect people because life is valuable and life has value, and nobody should suffer the loss that you did. Frank Castle has taken the exact same premise of losing somebody and used it to justify becoming an unstoppable mass murdering psychopath. And it's like, for me, that's the tension of those two characters. And I think obviously it's something that has been explored in the comics, but it's a really good thing to bat the two together. And it just never comes up in the movie. It's like really strange. And like,
it's more frustrating than that, Darren, where I think it is gestured at in the movie, because so like they know enough to know they need to comment on it, but it is not explored during that sequence in which MJ, Peter takes MJ to the Punisher's hideout to protect her, right? And like there is a little bit of dialogue there where the Punisher says, "Do you want to be like me? I am a loner and I am a goddamn mess." Like we get a throwaway line of dialogue instead of the proper exploration of these themes.
Yeah.
He makes great chili though. But then it was just out of a can. I thought he was like actually spending all day making chili, but he just opened a can.
And like that's the thing, Bernthal is really charming. So it's like when he does the bit at the end where he's like, "Don't worry, Spidey, I got a plan to get you out of like a hospital." Yeah. I'm like, what's the Punisher? How many people is the Punisher going to murder to get him out of? It's like, no, Bernthal's gonna like wear the mask and be goofy in the window. And I'm like,
yes,
that's great. It's a really great scene. It's a really great Bernthal bit. It's like, I don't know if I believe that this man is an unstoppable psychopath who's been hollowed out from the inside by the loss of his family and used it to justify becoming a mass murderer.
Here's what I will say, Darren, about this topic in particular, where I think this is maybe the most comics accurate kind of crossover, in which in the Spider-Man movie, Punisher is a lovable goof. Yeah. And he murders people, but we play it off as a joke. If Spider-Man was cameoing in a Punisher movie, then we would have the deeper exploration of these things.
I do think there's a bit of like home court advantage of like, okay, if you come over to my house, you kind of got to act by my house's rules. Listen, if we go over to your one-shot Netflix thing, you could be popping heads as much as you want. Don't worry about it.
Like it's always the question of like, oh, who wins in a fight? This character versus this character. The answer is, whose comic book is it in?
Yeah. Well, who the writer decides. Yeah.
So like I worry less about that, but I think that is a symptom, or like that is kind of a showcase of all these little moments in which the movie fails to explore Peter as a character. And that's why we're watching a movie and not reading a 12-issue long comic book, because we want to know something, we want our character to either change at the end of the movie or have the world change because of them at the end of the movie.
Yeah, and there were moments in the movie where I did feel like, ooh, you're kind of playing a similar note to another Spider-Man movie, but you're not playing it as well. Like, people were like, well, why? How Spider-Man's in the hospital? Like, all these people know his identity. And it's like, well, Spider-Man 2 had that incredible scene on the train where everyone was like, oh, holy shit, he's just a kid. And they kind of like carry his body. And those people would never tell anyone who he is. Also, was back in a time where you couldn't just like take a picture of someone's face and use AI to be like, Grok, who is this?
By the way, Spider-Man big on the surveillance state here. Like, and obviously it's a part of the MCU, and it's part of the MCU being like a war on terror thing. And it's less overt now than it was in like Homecoming when he had instant kill mode, and Far From Home when he had killer drones or whatever. But like, I love that he's just like, let me work on the computer here and run facial recognition on the entire city of New York. And the movie's like, nothing to see here. Let's just
totally
move
fine.
this.
Totally fine.
We're not going to make that a point of exploration that other movies have done the exact same thing in a much better fashion. No. It's going to be a throwaway line. We just trust Spider-Man. and again, Cretton, who is like a great director. I think this movie is very well directed. I think it's very well made. You can see that Cretton has taken cues from The Dark Knight. Like there are shots in this movie that are lifted directly from The Dark Knight. The truck flipping over is like a practical effect direct from The Dark Knight. The sequence where when he's testing the web fluid and he just kind of explodes out of the alleyway and just kind of rolls into the street is a sequence it's a shot taken directly from The Dark Knight. And it's interesting that he's like, and also obviously we all know in The Dark Knight when Bruce uses surveillance on the entire city of Gotham, it's cool, and Morgan Freeman certainly has no issue with that, right?
I think he learned his lesson by the end. He's like, ooh, wait a minute. I was actually working for a corrupt police organization. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
Which is to say, like, I still really had a good time at this movie. I do how can I want to try to trail it back to a positive? That is my thing. I would love to trail it because we are being very harsh, but I do think it's very, very good. Although I think the Hulk being in this movie is a waste. It's a waste of Mark Ruffalo. It's a waste of the Hulk.
I want to raise my hand and say something nice because if we're doing that. I do like that the Hulk keeps his sweater on. I like that Mark Ruffalo's like, I'm 50 years old. I'm not getting in shirtless shape for this. So like when the Hulk gets big, the sweater kind of still mostly stays on. So that when he comes back down, Mark Ruffalo is like in a giant stretch sweater. I thought that was very cute. I like that a lot.
That was cute. And it was, I think it was a waste of the Hulk, but because he was in there, we do get a very fun action set piece that, again, like I can't talk good enough about how good the action was in this movie. We got some really fun Spider-Man action. Spider-Man fighting the Hulk. I think that was a waste. I think that could have been its own whole movie.
And one of my favorite beats in this, again, to get back to like Bernthal being very good, for all my issues with like the Punisher as a character and how he's used or whatever, Bernthal is on fire here, just doing the Bernthal thing. The moment where like he picks up the minds, like where Jean Grey is like controlling his mind, and Bernthal is playing a 15-year-old girl inside the body of the Punisher, and just
that was good.
It's incredible. He walks out the back of the scene as the Hulk is transforming. He goes, "Good luck with that, Peter," and then just continues like sashaying out. And I'm just like, that's like maybe my favorite single moment of the movie.
Right, and like let's talk about the visualization of her hopping through people's minds who got their own credit as like, because like I don't know if they were special stunt people or dancers or what it was.
Choreography,
it was great. And it was like
camera choreography.
It was impressive, it was beautiful, and it was kind of terrifying.
Yes.
Like the idea of like just in a snap, all of a sudden you lose time and you're like, where am I? And for some people, it's just like, oh, I'm still in this park. That was weird. But for other people, it's like, why am I in this helicopter upside down?
why am I webbed to a wall?
Right. Yeah. But like all of these things that were done within camera where we just get to see someone kind of like lurch forward and then 2 seconds later, someone else lurch in the same direction. That's like a really neat choreography and really effective filmmaking.
Or even the climax when they're doing the like standard like X-Men mind wave thing, like it's from the first Stinger X-Men movie with the wave spreading out. It's from Thunderbolts last year, but visually it's like really inventive where it's dancers, it's everybody doing the same pose of like their brains being moved in a particular direction, and it looks just really great. It is like really visually interesting. To get back to, it was shot practically, or as practically as one of these movies can be shot these days.
It was shot with someone thought about these things ahead of time and then prepared to do it like on the day of the set, which I know sounds crazy that that's something we're praising.
Listen,
it's made like an actual movie.
But like
it's a little
and then we get stuff like the big hand ninja scene at the end where all of the ninjas are also being controlled by Jean Grey, so they get to move in an organized fashion that seems even hypernatural for supernatural ninjas. Really, really amazing.
And I kind of like, again, to speak of something that I do like about the movie, something I find charming is how it doesn't try to hide the ball with like Tremel Tillman being a bad guy and Damage Control being evil. Like the bit where he's giving the guided tour to like Peter Parker and he's like, wait, are those the undead ninja assassins? Like, yeah, they just needed a job. And it's like, okay.
Honestly, when you say it, Tremel Tillman, I'll believe it. Like, you're so confident that. I also like...
Oh, go ahead, Marty.
I was just kind of...
Oh, fuck you. Fuck, you know what, Marty? Fuck you.
I'm going to go because it's literally the scene that Eric was showing. I like the fact... I don't like it when Spider-Man's using a bunch of gadgets that aren't webs. I like when he's using webs in weird ways. And this movie's got some great webs to it. Oh my God, the webs in this movie. Out of control.
Breaking of the sword, the bit where he's like just webbing all over everybody. Again, to get back that teenage boy metaphor.
Yeah, it's just the webs just blowing up out of everywhere. How weird it was.
Epidemic. He's spending too much time on the web. He's just spamunking all over everybody. Yeah, it's just
spamunking.
The Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters. Thank you very much.
Jack, now it's your turn. Talk about your favorite webs.
Again, the only thing I thought about is, man, I've never gotten around to playing Spider-Man 2. I played Spider-Man. I played Spider-Man Miles Morales, and the big thing, subliminal marketing as it might be, is I came out of this movie going, man, I gotta play Spider-Man 2.
Can I say really quick? I'm the last one to jump on this.
Cross synergy. Sorry.
You called him Miles Moranis, like he's related to Rick Moranis.
It's like people have been asking, where did Rick Moranis go? Some people say he retired in Canada. Other people say that he's the new Spider-Man.
What if they would people get mad if they cast Rick Moranis as Miles Morales? Or would people mostly just be confused?
That's the one race bending you get away with in terms of
just because it's so weird. You're like, okay,
so off the ball. It's like
because it's like, is this racist? The answer is I don't know.
It's weird. It's certainly weird.
It's like Robert Downey Jr. gets a pass in Tropic Thunder because it's so weird and so good. All right, Rick Moranis. Let's see how you play.
What you got? Yeah,
a young black teenager.
I like that it's like Clifford. We're doing Clifford. We're doing transracial Clifford. Is what we're pitching here.
There you go. There you go.
But no, I was going to remark on how like obvious they were as far as damage controls being the bad guy, which we kind of like the fun thing about like rewatching all the Spider-Man movies before this, as I also did, just to kind of get a sense of stuff, is like that the fact that like damage control in Spider-Man Homecoming was also kind of the bad guy. Like they weren't overtly the bad guy, but they were taking jobs away from Americans, right? Like
good working Americans, like the Vulture.
At one point, he was a good working American.
I don't think at any point he was a good American. He was working though, and like to your point, like I like that Cretin is doing the thing of like seeding continuity, where like I had forgotten that the guy from Wonder Man was in No Way Home until I rewatched No Way Home, and I'm kind of disappointed that he's not carried over into this movie either. But I like that Cretin is clearly like, I have threads of continuity, and stuff like damage control is something that goes from, to your point, from Homecoming into No Way Home, into Wonder Man, and back out to here. Like I like that,
and will seemingly possibly also go into X-Men. Like
I do
like, okay, this
Travel Tillman just disappeared, and it's like, I feel like he's a civil servant. I don't know that disappearing is in his skill set.
It's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go by my mother's maiden name, Trask. You're like, oh, it's Trask. He did it.
Right, but like that
Benjamin Oliver Trask. No, Bolivar Trask.
I like it.
But like for someone who's watched all of these, like that is a really nice payoff. And like, now we get like these little seeds. It was a very much of a moment when Spider-Man was walking through the facility and they're going, oh, that's our giant impenetrable safe. Man, it would sure take a lot to get through that. And you go, oh, okay, great. We know we're going to do that later. That's fun.
If only there were some sort of large hulking superhero that were going to be useful here.
I'm also glad VMAX wasn't like a blue liquid in a tube or like an evil AI.
The thing I was waiting for was them to like reveal that the V was a folded X. That was the thing I was dreading. It was going to be like an X-Men reveal. Yeah. And the fact that it turns out to be just what it is actually like really, again, just good storytelling.
It's good storytelling for a Jean Grey movie.
Fair point. You mean you're not invested in the story of Sarah Gray, a character who appears on screen for precisely 1.5 scenes?
That being said, the end of it, I have seen a little chatter online, and it's not a stretch to say the end of this movie was incredibly similar to the last Marvel movie we got. Or wait, was that the last Marvel? Oh, that was I forgot about Fantastic Four.
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts?
I was talking Thunderbolts.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they were close together.
We get the swallowing of New York, and then the forgiving of the character and the folding of the character into a larger family. Yes,
we get the swallowing of New York, and then kind of fighting via a dream sequence, or like kind of our big confrontation via dream sequence. Very, very reminiscent of the Thunderbolts. Not necessarily a bad thing, but to have them out in such a short time span next to each other is a little.
I also think it was
counterpoint, Jack. Nobody saw Thunderbolts.
That is a good counterpoint.
As somebody who thinks Thunderbolts was the far superior film, nobody saw it.
Yeah,
damn it.
Yeah. Do we want to go over some super chats, because I feel like they're gonna ping pong us into some directions for conversation.
Absolutely. And we only have
ping ponged.
35 minutes left. Thank you, Eric, for the timer.
Plenty of time.
All the time.
What could possibly go wrong? Starting off the bat, a $5 Ko-Fi dono from Charno. Thank you so much, Charno. Brand New Day was frustrating because it was threatening to get Sam Raimi-ish / Cronenberg-y with the Arachnid transformation plot. I felt major blue balls when we did not get an 8-eyed Tom Holland. I genuinely thought he was going to transform into some kind of a monster, and Jean was going to have to
pull him back.
Like Jean was going to have to be the one to calm him down, as opposed to him calming her down.
And that would be her redemption. That would be like, because she's kind of like, there's a line where Frank's like, "Oh, she held your vitals together after I shot you. By the way, none of that is a big deal." And it's like, you kind of, I feel like you have to do more after nearly swallowing New York. You have to, like, to your point, maybe recover a man spider or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, she totally killed that one guy. There's like the one old guy. She just moves into traffic. That guy's like crazy dead, right?
Oh yeah.
And, and the guys like shoot each other in the legs and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. The tank almost like somebody was working at a desk just looking at their window, and the tank's probably going to break before it gets here, right?
Yeah, it'll be fine. Frog Parts, thank you so much, a $5 dono. Actually seeing Tom Holland in a suit on screen, on a set, and not just green screens, instantly made the movie better to me. Easily his best solo movie. Again, like, it is going to be very silly the way this sounds, but it goes a long way now in these big budget summer blockbusters to just be in a place that feels real.
This might be my hottest take ever. Is I truly don't mind the look of the CG slop. A lot of it I do like. Okay, which is a bold statement. I am going to walk it back a little bit. In general, I don't mind a CG heavy movie. I don't mind a CG heavy look. What I think real sets and real costumes usually indicate is a filmmaker who has a plan ahead of time. And I think mostly the CGI slop is synonymous with making it up in post.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we are upset about, not necessarily the visual look of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my kind of way to temper that.
Well, this is the digital thing, the film versus digital thing, where like people get very excited about film and film stock and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I get excited about that too. The reason I get excited about that too is because digital is its own medium. And digital, to Jack's point, looks great when digital is trying to do stuff that only digital can do. Stuff like Michael Mann's Collateral or Miami Vice or Speed Racer, all that insanity, like Sin City, right? And like Sin City is a great example of a movie that uses CGI incredibly heavily, but also incredibly well. It is, I think, when you get into the uncanny valley, is one of the things that kind of irks me, where it's like, I don't know what Sin City should look like. I do know what New York should look like. And when you fail to capture that convincingly, that is for me, I think, the gap with CGI. And it's the same thing with performers, where it's like, I know how bodies move. And like, when you CGI Spider-Man in the suit, he doesn't move like a stunt person does in a suit. He looks like he's made of rubber. And it just, it knocks me out of the movie in a way. And I'm saying this as like somebody who's like, the best CGI is stuff we may not even realize is CGI. CGI is
sure,
like a lot of incredible work in
Fincher.
Fincher.
Fincher uses CGI in so many shots, and it's just I would never have guessed that, because it's a weird thing to use CGI in this shot.
And digital, his use of digital cinematography and the way he moves the camera, like, again, all this stuff, if it's used well, is incredible. It's a way of, like, it's expanding the vocabulary of cinema. It just, for me, when it is used, to Jack's point, to very lazily be, but we don't want to have to spend money to go on location, and also we don't want the director to get any ideas about how they're making a movie, so we'll just shoot it all on green screen and we'll figure it out in post.
That way we can run the story beats through our board of directors first, and then we'll figure it out. Like, to me, that is the problem, not necessarily the visual medium. Is the like incredibly pedantic distinction I would like to make there.
Is this movie gonna give Sony any thoughts to be like, what if we start up the Spelunk again? Like, they have to realize the only thing that works is Spider-Man, right?
I want to say a story came out just the other day that, like, they are not planning any non-Spider-Man movies in the Spider-Man universe.
That's what they want you to think, Jack. That's exactly what somebody who was planning to start a bunch of non-Spider-Man movies would tell you. Just like Jean Grey isn't in this movie. Andrew Garfield isn't in this movie. We'll leak it and we'll let people start speculating. I do, like, to that point, not to spoil the backdrop video, which was supposed to drop today, but is not dropping in the foreseeable future. One of the things I do find interesting is that, like, as the movies go on, you can kind of see Sony, like, big dog passive aggressiving Marvel, where it's like Homecoming comes out and Sony are like right off the failure of the two Amazing Spider-Man movies. And they're like, they are so happy to have like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and they're like, we will worship at the feet of these men. Tony Stark is incredible, Captain America is wonderful, and it's like that movie comes out and it does reasonably well. Then Endgame happens and Marvel kill off Robert Downey Jr. and they get rid of Chris Evans, and Sony are suddenly like, guess who has the one bankable Marvel superhero? So Far From Home is quite literally about Mysterio showing up and punking Nick Fury, being like, I'll just write my own fucking stupid superhero movie. The CGI is getting big because they're drawing energy from the core. And like Nick Fury is like, it sucks being Nick Fury now because Spider-Man is ducking my calls. Spider-Man is quite literally like, Far From Home is how Spider-Man doesn't want to be in a Nick Fury movie. And then you get to No Way Home, where we've talked about this before, where like Doctor Strange is like the big Marvel character. And an hour into that movie, they kick him into a parallel universe, close the door behind him, and lock 5 existing Sony like villains, 2 existing Sony superheroes. Like, we'll make our own fucking Spider-Man movie with our own fucking Spider-Man. And then here, like, obviously, Bernthal has done Marvel products, like we talked about, like One Last Kill is a Disney production. Obviously, like Daredevil has been reclaimed by Born Again by Disney, but like the characters in this movie are characters who are pointedly 1 degree away from the Disney ownership of Marvel, where it's like Bernthal originates on Netflix. The Hand originates on Netflix. The Hulk can't make a solo movie with Disney because his rights belong to Universal. And obviously Jean Grey is an X-Man. And you do feel a little bit of Sony just being like, just so we're clear who the big dog is here, right?
Do you think Universal secretly makes a little bit of money every time the Hulk's in a movie? Like it's the most incredible like free money exploit ever to be like, yeah, you guys fucking sure put him in a movie.
Use him. Yeah. I just love the idea that they've never got that dog in them that Sony has, where Sony's like, we will build our own fucking universe with Spider-Man. And like, I love that Universal just have never been like, you know what? Hulk shared universe, the Hulk cinematic universe.
They're watching She-Hulk. They're like, listen, people are going to love She-Hulk. We'll be able to make a movie full of Hulks. They're going to love this ugly little Hulk kid he has.
Remember when he came back with his
Remember that ugly little yeah. And it was like a last shot of like a Fast and Furious movie. They're all having Coronas in a backyard in LA. Yeah.
Was there a little photo of like his weird alien son like on his desk at like while he's lecturing at university where he's like, anybody have any questions? Not about the son. Not about
I don't want to talk about little the amazing bulk.
That was my favorite episode of Daredevil Born Again season 2 is when Matt just remembers the Hulk showing up with his weird alien son.
Matt still has like nightmares about the worst cookout he ever went to. It's like, it was so weird. This green guy was so weird.
Listen, it was a great fling and we had a great time. She was wonderful, but her family, am I right?
Your cousin is insane. I don't want to go to this movie. Yeah. Quintuple A, thank you so much, a $5 dono. I've had a pretty good time with both the Odyssey and Brand New Day. Should I abandon video games and become a movie guy? What should I watch next? Moana? Yes, 100% you should abandon video games. Video games take too long. Movies are like 2 hours and you're done. It's incredible.
Here's the thing. Video games are wonderful, but they take too long. You could watch 10 movies in the time you play 1 game. You
can finish 3 movies in a night. Let's see you try to finish 3 games in a night.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like every September when like film and television winds down, I'm like, I'm going to play a video game. And then every October when film and television ramps up, I'm like, I'm still playing this video game.
Yeah, sorry.
If someone went to the theater, doesn't watch a lot of movies, had a great time at Odyssey, had a great time at Spider-Man, what should they do next?
The Invite. The Olivia Wilde, and it's doing reasonably well as well. It's going to make like $60 million for a movie that costs $6 million, which is pretty good. And it's a nice, fun movie of the kind they don't really make anymore. That's really charming, really funny, has a little bit of a dramatic edge to it, and has 4 really great performances in it. That's the one that I would kind of point to in theaters now.
Love it. Sounds great. Yeah, I'm really excited for Teenage Death and Sex at Camp Miasma that comes out.
I'm seeing that next Thursday. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's a follow up to Jack's #1 date movie of all time.
Shout out to Sir John Arbuckle in the comments pointing out that Eli Roth has a new movie out called Ice Cream Man, which none of us have any experience or relationship to in this podcast. And it's certainly not the reason that countdown is happening in the corner of the screen.
Countdown to ice cream. Does that mean Jack and I get to eat ice cream in 30 minutes? Because that'd be
Hell
delightful.
You will have the more pleasant experience
Deal.
of the three of us. Yeah.
You don't know that? What
That's
if you
fair.
come back as
What
a
if- what
super
if-
fan?
Because I get like Thanksgiving is like the best Eli Roth movie ever, a solid 3 stars. Like, sorry, that was mean.
No, it's not mean. He's not a good filmmaker. Like everyone just needs to admit that about Eli Roth.
You know what movie was pretty good? House of the Clock and its Walls.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a pretty
solid 2.5 star movie.
They
Yeah,
made a whole movie about a house with a clock in its walls.
yeah, it was like boring. Its big sin was that it was mostly boring, which is a step up from a lot of the Eli.
And then he
Roth
gave
albums.
us one of the video game movies of all time in Borderlands. Kind of gave it to us. I'm not sure if he actually finished that one.
I love that he's to Kate Blanchett what Sean Levy is to Ryan Gosling, I guess.
The Muse. Maybe he's just a great guy. Jonathan Griffin, thank you so much, a $10 dono. Darren, I own the GL Rebirth compendiums, Green Lantern Rebirth compendiums, and I want to read with lanterns. Should I read Emerald Twilight first or enough to know what happens? Watching Brand New Day this afternoon, so I'll catch the pod later.
Should be enough to know what happens. I don't know if you're listening to this or when you're listening to this, but you can follow
Probably
along
afterwards.
quite well. Like they're like written in a sense that like you're designed to pick up as somebody's first comic, to give credit where it's due.
Nice.
And I do think that like Jeff Johns' like Green Lantern run is one of the great modern runs in comics. Peter Tomasi's Green Lantern Corps run, which runs alongside it, is also very good. It is, for my mind, like the peak of Green Lantern. It's a solid like 7 years, and it's a proper like Star Wars epic in comic books. I reread it recently. I still really like it. I think it's perfectly accessible. I don't think you need to go back and read Emerald Twilight, because if you go back and read Emerald Twilight, you need to read The Death of Superman, and if you read The Death of Superman, you need to read a whole bunch of stuff to get into that. I will just start clean. There's also issues around the writer of like a lot of 90s Green Lantern stuff that we don't need to get into, which is unpleasant, but yes.
What about the Green Lantern movie? Should we watch that?
Not the worst movie Ryan Reynolds has made. I kind
Is that
of admire.
R.I.P.D.?
Yeah, I kind of like, I admire like that Reynolds has the bit of like, if I point at Green Lantern hard enough, people will forget I was in R.I.P.D. and X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like if I have picked this guy to be the scapegoat, this is the Sin Eater in my filmography. I kind of like admire that on one level, but I also feel bad for everybody else involved in that movie.
Also, like, dog, you made Free Guy like 5 years ago. What are you doing? What leg do you have to stand on? That movie's awful.
But also, you made Deadpool and Wolverine and all the Deadpool movies. You're doing okay. Like, you don't need to be kicking down and backwards.
Yeah. After Pyro, thank you so much, a €2 dono. Thoughts on Days of Future Past, the movie/comic? Both, I guess.
Comic's great. Comic's really great. It's only 2 issues long, which is incredible. Like the
Really?
thing that's incredible when you read like the obviously it's the Byrne and Claremont run, which is like this abridged run of X-Men, and it's like they go straight from the Dark Phoenix saga. I think there's an issue between them which is dealing with the end of the Dark Phoenix saga, and then straight into Days of Future Past, and you're like, these are like 2 of the most important comic book stories ever written, and they were published like in the same title within a year of each other, and it's kind of incredible to read. I think those comics are great. I'm a big fan of Claremont writing in general. It's very soapy. It's very like pulpy. It's a lot of old-fashioned comic stuff where he just keeps explaining stuff that happened in the last issue, because the idea was that you could pick up any random issue and be able to follow along. So it's very, very dense with a lot of purple prose. But I have a huge soft spot for it. If you're reading a classic comic run from the 70s, you could do a lot worse than Claremont. The movie I like a lot. The movie is kind of interesting because it almost feels to me like the naive, like we kind of joked about like the Oppenheimer type effect of like Jon Favreau before we went on Mike. This feels like the kind of Oppenheimer like effect of the movie that like gave us Endgame and gave us Deadpool and Wolverine and gave us to a certain extent No Way Home and arguably Brand New Day and The Flash, where it's like, what if we just mash a whole bunch of recognizable IP together? Yeah. I do think it's because it's the first one, I was very charmed by it, and also because it was the first one, it's kind of modest and it doesn't realize the enormity of what it's doing. So it's like, I will also actually have a story to pin together all of this nostalgia. And I'm like, I'll go along with it. On the other hand, it is directed by a monster, so I will probably never watch it again. But
also, it's Sentinels. Pretty dumb looking, I think. I'm a classic man when it comes to Sentinels. I just want my Sentinels to be big, dumb, purple robots. I think that's what a Sentinel should look like. I don't want it to look like 2 humanoid and made of nano machines. Get that out of here. I want a big, dumb, clunky purple robot. Yeah, that's simple. Steady Goblin Wood, thank you so much. $10 dono. I was worried with a 2-month-old that I would have to miss Spider-Man, but then I remembered the drive-in. I got to enjoy my favorite web slinger and hold my son the whole time. Loved the experience. 10 out of 10. I never thought of that you could do. You could just go to a drive-in if you have a young kid, not worry about making noise for everyone else. That's great.
Drive-ins are incredible. Yeah.
They're incredible, though they are also incredibly rare. I don't even. We used to have one
like Lake
relatively
Mills,
near
right?
me. No, in down in the like Franklin suburbs, like Franklin Oak Creek suburbs, a southern suburb of Milwaukee. That was a great double screen drive-in that I went to a lot as a teenager. I got several movies spoiled for me because I went to grab popcorn mid-movie and saw a spoiler on the other screen. Yeah. Oh my god! So City of Angels.
She's Jean Grey.
Spoiled for me.
City of You mean the angel guy becomes human and dies? No, sorry, the other one. The guy becomes human and his love dies. Yes.
Nick Cage spends the whole movie as an angel, turns to human because he loves Meg Ryan, then Meg Ryan dies.
Gets hit by a truck, isn't it? Or something, if I remember correctly? It's like she's riding a bike.
You're going to meet Joe Black. Meet Joe Black.
No, that's the one where he gets hit by the car. He gets hit by two cars.
So City of Angels, completely spoiled for me thanks to the drive-in that now I believe is a Northwestern Mutual Insurance conglomerate.
Either die driving or live long enough to see yourself become a Northwestern Mutual.
But so I don't even know if we have one like anywhere near us in Wisconsin.
I've never been to a drive-in.
What?
Never
They
been
were
to a
big during
drive-in.
the pandemic. I don't know if Ireland has any drive-ins at the moment, but during the pandemic we had a couple, and I went to a couple, and they were incredible.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was that like a thing there, or is that like a purely American? Because it feels to me like everything with cars feels American to me. Of like, let's sit in our car for 3 hours.
Yeah, no, I went during the pandemic. Did I go and see Scream at the drive? Like, because again, it's when movies weren't coming out as well, and it was just like a communal activity you can do that's safe in a bubble. So, like, I think we went to see Scream, and I think we went to see Hocus Pocus. I'm guessing it was in October, based on the movies that I'm listing here. But yeah, it was just an incredible experience, and it's like I kind of wish that they were still popular, and it was still something you could do semi-regularly. Where it's like I don't know if I would go to the drive-in every week, but like once every 2 or 3 months, be like, hey, let's go to the drive-in together.
Yeah, on a nice like summer night. That could be fun.
Yeah. Load the car up with like treats, Bunch of Crunch and stuff, and you're good to go.
Hell yeah.
BSC. God, I love Bunch of Crunch. Bunch of Crunch is making a comeback. I mean, not even a comeback. I think it's just finally earning its place at the top.
You're welcome, everybody, for bringing.
You are the ambassador of Bunch of Crunch.
I'm the ambassador of Bunch of Crunch. Yeah.
Yeah. Sinus the Hedgehog, thank you so much, a $5 dono. In my opinion, making the antagonist Jean Grey was a mistake. Nothing like the comics, no consequences for her actions, and a bad start to the X-Men shared universe. I liked nothing like comics doesn't bother me. Like I think adaptation.
Adapt liberally. Like again, stuff like the Raimi movies, like the organic web slingers, I've got no problem with.
Yeah, it is. Do agree that like some people might be like, well, X-Men are supposed to be like kind of a group of like young kids who are persecuted coming together, and the first one we meet is just killing a bunch of innocent people, and like that's a little weird. But also like Iron Man Begins, he's like a genuine mass murderer with what he creates, with the weapons Tony Stark makes.
At one point, he flies across the planet to murder a bunch of people in a village, like on the far side of the world, just because he feels like it, And obviously, he's saving people, but he's also like a guy who flew halfway around the world to do some murder,
Right. I like where it's like I agree with you that I don't like her as the villain here, like mostly because they spend too much time building up the rest of the universe. Yeah. I think she works well here, and I do actually think this is a good introduction to X-Men because we literally get to see one of them be very persecuted.
Yeah.
And so anyone going into the X-Men franchise from this already has that starting point of, oh yeah, people are fucking with mutants.
And I think like to give again, not comics accuracy doesn't matter. Darren says, putting his hands in the air as he's about to talk about comics accuracy. But like again, to mention during the Claremont era, stuff like Rogue, who was a former supervillain turned X-Man, Wolverine, who was an assassin turned X-Men, and like that stuff, I don't mind Jean Grey being, and I don't mind the X-Men in general being a bit scruffier around the edges. Like one of the things that defines the X-Men is that they have a somewhat strained relationship to the rest of the larger universe, because you need to justify the fact that like Captain America isn't mutant rights now all of the time 24/7. But I do think like my issue with this is just based on experience and based on previous Marvel properties, I don't mind that, like, she does bad things here. I don't mind that she does things that are unforgivable. It is the lack of consequences and the sense that I get that the universe is probably going to forgive her for it. It's the WandaVision thing of, like, nobody knows what you lost when you brainwash that entire town. And even here, like, Peter forgiving her, I get. Peter is, like, a big, sensitive soul, and he's feeling lonely, too. And I get Peter forgiving her. Frank is a dude called the Punisher. His whole shtick is that he punishes people. Frank kind of just shrugging it off at the end of the movie. And I know we're, as you said, we are in a Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man rules. But, like, Spider-Man's out for the count for a lot of that. I'm like, that is the bit that I don't get. And it's the weirdness of doing because they do the really nerdy shit here. They do the death of Spider-Man from Ultimate Comics, where, like, Frank is going to snipe somebody, but Spider-Man just swings through and gets hit instead. Yeah. But, like, it just feels so unconsequential, and it doesn't carry any real weight, and it does a little bit kind of knock me out in the movie. That said, Drake Shire, who's the guy who did Thunderbolts, which is, to my mind, the best Marvel movie of the past couple of years, he's directing the X-Men movie. If I have trust in anybody, I have trust in him, so I'm very curious to see where it goes.
Yeah. I agree. Also, I could very quickly forgive fictional characters at an X state. Like, I'm still a couple episodes behind, but this season of House of the Dragon, what is Aegon was the name of the king who got burned? Like the former king, the shitty king
Aegon
who gets burned.
Yes.
Like, I'm 4 episodes in, and I'm like, I'm on his side now. Like, I hope he gets over these. I'm like, he is a terrible dude. He's an awful
dude. There's an incredible moment where, like, Lara Strong, Matthew Needham, just spends a solid 5 minutes detailing not only why he is an awful king, but why he is the worst human being who has ever lived. And I'm like, you know what? He did get burnt, though. I feel sorry.
I hope he gets a one-up over this mud lord. I don't like this dude who's running this mud town. I want him to be able to kill this guy. So you can easily forget that. Lena Loki, thank you so much for $5 dono. It's interesting that Spider-Man may be the only solo MCU hero who hasn't been allowed to exist outside of the multiverse and get a true solo film.
Yeah, because his villains are 2 Iron Man villains and a bunch of, like, Spider-Man villains from previous Spider-Man movies and an X-Man. Those are the villains of the 4 first Spider-Man movies, which is insane to me when you consider that Spider-Man has one of the best rogues galleries in comics. And to be fair, I think
what do you mean
Michael
2 Iron Man villains? Who
the Vulture is, like, reconfigured. His primary grudge is with Iron Man as opposed to with, like, Peter Parker.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. He just won't shut up about how much he fucking hates Iron Man. And Mysterio is like, I got fired by Iron Man. It's like, is Iron Man in this movie? I don't care. I got fired by Iron Man. And, like, Spider-Man has one of the best rogues galleries in comics. And I do think, like, the Vulture and Mysterio are, to my mind, 2 of the best villains in the MCU. Particularly when we talk about, like, MCU villains being weak. I remember those being 2 exceptions at the time when that was a big talking point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I miss when, like, the Tobey Maguire movies were just like, here's a dude, he's got a relationship to Peter, he's a villain now, and they have to figure it out. I'm like, why can't we do that?
The comics Spider-Man villains are like Peter's daddy issues, and they have transformed that into, like, oh, we're going to give you daddy issues but with your hero compatriots, and we're going to turn the villains into something else. Even this one, like, Punisher is like Peter's daddy in this video, is Peter's naughty daddy. So
that's a different movie. What's the Black Widow thing? I've seen the fan art.
Oh yeah, I've seen
very graphic. Very graphic.
Very graphic.
And her name is just Black Widow now? You can just call her Black Widow?
That's what she is.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Like, the same way you call Miles Morales Spider-Man.
I guess that's true. I call Rick Moranis Spider-Man.
That's fair.
Jumbly, thank you so much. Been in the Green Gang for 2 years. Don't be Mr. Negatives. Be Mr. Positives.
I like don't that. Mess with Mr. In Between.
We don't talk about Mr. In Between. I don't know if that's a real dude, but I don't want to know. I don't trust him. Lena Loki, thank you so much on their $5 dono. Also, glad Michael Mando returned. Ask me in Discord how awful his post Better Call Saul green card application went. I'm forever mad about it. Lena Loki's got little lore drops about Jesus. What happened? That was Mr. Negative. I see what happened. Michael Mando is great. I wish he had a little bit more to do in this movie.
Again, like, it's. I don't need him to be like Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, who is, like, the gold standard of, like, comic book movie villains. But I do need to know what he wants, and how he thinks that dressing up as a giant scorpion is going to accomplish it. Those are the two things I need. That's all I need. I don't need anything else.
Yep.
But it's like he was like a gang leader in Homecoming, like he was a weapons dealer.
Like all he had in Homecoming was a scorpion tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, on his neck.
Yeah, that was it.
But committing so hard to the bit.
Right.
Yeah. He just really likes scorpions. I don't know. Some people like things.
We had a lot of throwaway lines in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Give one to the scorpion.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
Also, Eric, you should probably put the spoiler thing back up because we've still been doing spoilers this whole time.
Yes,
We're still in the spoiler zone.
Yeah, we mentioned the name of the character several times. Yes.
So I do see a real quick question right here, which is, without spoilers, is this film worth watching?
Oh, sorry, we've been.
I say yes.
Yeah,
I say yes. It's worth watching.
My bar for worth watching is extremely low, to be honest. I watch stuff. I watch a lot of garbage. So yeah, I had a good time.
I think it is. I think it's a good blockbuster. I think like if you go in and it's like if you on my scale of nuncha crunch to bunch of crunch, this gets a bunch of crunch. Get you a bunch of crunch and a popcorn, and you're gonna have a great time.
I know Darren hasn't said yes, it's worth it. Darren is anti. Why are you anti movie theaters, Darren?
Why do you hate? I love that. By the way, biggest weekend ever in cinemas, thanks to the combination of Brand New Day and the Odyssey. Yeah. Movies are great. Movies are back. Movies are never really gone. Movies have been back God knows how long now, and it's great. Yeah, I don't know. Like again, I figure if you like the 3 previous Holland movies, you'll like this one. I think is it. It's better than some of the blockbusters I've seen this year. It's not as good as Master of the Universe. It's like I think I'd be more qualified than the two of you guys on this one.
Agreed. Wow. That's what you should watch, Quintuple. What's your next movie? Open up Amazon Prime and get some Masters of the Universe up in you. Understand the power of Fisto. Jack just doesn't understand Fisto.
Don't do it.
Demon Hunter, thank you so much for $5 dono. Mild spoilers, dude. I effing balled when Matt walked up to Penelope. Ooh, we are back to the Odyssey. Same energy with MJ. The sadness in his eyes with the longing was real in both. I like the scene. I wish there was kind of more of MJ and her new.
Great work from Eric here. I just want to acknowledge.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, Penelope. I liked. I thought it was devastating him going to the house party and then seeing that she has a boyfriend who's Ezra in Ahsoka. Is that right?
But if any of that like had any real characterization or edge to it,
but that's the thing is I wish there was more of that. What if instead of like 30 minutes on Jean Grey, we just had we had that
right?
Yeah, more of that.
Yeah.
That would be more Spider-Man. I would like that.
Would be more Spider-Man. Like, what if he's like, what if he's a good boyfriend and it's like, well, fuck. Yeah. Like,
even now I'm screwed. Yeah. What if he's Paul? What if he's Paul from the Zed Wells run? I love that even Jack, who isn't reading Spider-Man comics, knows about Paul.
Oh, I understand the Paul discourse.
Yeah, it's an appalling character. Yeah.
We don't have enough time, even if we were going the full length to explain Paul to you.
The taxi is outside the door for me, by the way, but we will keep going.
No.
No,
we'll keep going. Here, Darren.
No, keep going.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. Lena Loki, thank you so much. $2 dono. Jean Grey is a 90s baby because she's hooked on Phoenix. You just wanted to hear that one. God damn it. That's the only reason. Okay. And Lena Loki, thank you so much. $2 dono. Spidey makes money by being a celebrity on the web. God damn. He could probably sell those webs. You know how like streamers sell like their bathwater? He could sell webs.
Sure.
Like the Sydney Sweeney approach to like Spider-Man.
Yeah, sell your webs on eBay. Be a verified account and sell webs.
By the way, there is an early Spider-Man comic, and I do appreciate Stanley and Steve Ditko for doing this, where it's like, why doesn't Spider-Man sell his web fluid and make money? And it's like, the problem is it dissolves in half an hour. It's like, it's a really good joke where everybody is like, we love this. This adhesive is fantastic. Let us write this check for you for $1 million, Mr. Spider-Man. Yeah. And because it's 60s comics, like, we don't need to know your secret identity. We'll just write Spider-Man on the check. And then the web fluid dissolves. And like, sorry, Spider-Man. Just can't do it.
Genius.
60s comics are great.
Nick Dole, thank you so much, $10 dono. The Insomniac games excelled at showing the tension with Peter's double life. Getting calls about being late to a birthday party while fighting gave me actual real anxiety for disappointing people that I cared about.
Right.
Yeah. That's what Spider-Man should be. Like, I rewatched the Spider-Man, the Raimi movies, and they do it so well. 2 and like 3 is a messy movie, but even 3 has a whole bunch of personal stuff in it, which is so great. And like none of that feels like it bleeds through into this stuff, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because,
that is a good point. I am Ravno said. So all the thugs in the Insomniac games are just dead. Then that is true. If you like web a thug up to the side of a skyscraper and you don't get him down in the next 30 minutes, oh yeah, he's super dead. Yeah,
Well, that's what damage control's for, right? You got to assume Travel Tillman's doing that, like it's got like prying them off.
You have to assume he like there is a dedicated Spider-Man cleanup crew that's like, you know, villain here.
Have a little spray that de-adhesifies the web.
Yeah. Quintuple with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. Do you have a favorite set piece / scene? You know what I didn't like? The montage at the beginning of him fighting the different random villains and doing
which is all covers. It's
cover
all
poses.
Covers.
Yeah, I don't know. That didn't do too much for me.
Yeah,
like
that felt very forced. That felt like a studio note of like people like it when we do the cover photo thing.
Yeah.
I talked about this a little bit. I really liked the ninja fight at the end.
So
kind of like in the jail cell ninja fight. It comes in one of my least favorite parts of the movie, of the line drop, the character moment line drop. But I think the actual fight is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah,
and I thought the Bernthals, like any scene with Holland and Bernthal together is really good. And the sequence where Zendaya, like, you know, manipulates Bernthal, guilts Bernthal into going to help him, and he doesn't want to do it, but he does. And also the rooftop scene. I think the rooftop scene, which we're in spoilers, so the bit where it's like Jean Grey controlling MJ is
that was great.
First of all, Zendaya is incredible in that sequence. It's the one scene in the movie that really uses her effectively. And the second thing is that, like, it is that Spider-Man itch of me of like, it is soap opera stuff. It is so pure, like soap opera relationship stuff, which is stuff that I don't think the Holland movies have done as well as the Raimi movies have, but as like the best Spider-Man comics do. It's that sequence on the roof where the villain's like, I will get to Spider-Man through his love, is like just really, for me, classic Spider-Man stuff. And it's really well performed. Absolutely. And like the moment when it's revealed, I'm like, I know you walked a guy into oncoming traffic, Gene, but this makes you a monster.
This is the line. This is the line. Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Darren, you can leave anytime you need to. I'm just telling you.
Darren,
you're making me nervous.
Just walk out.
I'm gonna go.
Don't leave your camera on. Turn your camera off. Turn your computer off. Eric will fix us. You get out of here. Bye, Darren.
You can say bye at least. You don't have to just turn
I will say bye. Bye.
I'm telling you can leave, but I've got to have the decency to say bye.
Gotta rough out the door. Yeah, I've got to.
Right, enjoy your ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream.
Ice cream. Beautiful.
I like Darren.
You know what? Here's the thing. I like Darren so much. When I talk to other people about movies, usually what I find myself saying is, well, here's what Darren thinks about this.
You guys ever heard about my friend Darren?
Here's some really insightful things that my friend and coworker have to say about this.
Yeah.
What I think about the movie does not matter. I am here just to listen to Darren and poke him to say more things.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Gargling. Thank you so much. 5 donos in a row. Get fucking comfy. We got a gargling block coming on. That's a terrible thing to say. Long time no see. House got hit by a tornado, so I was out of funds for a while. About the movie. Well, sorry to hear that about the tornado. Yeah. About this movie, did anyone else find the car product placement funny? The sign in the train scene. I didn't notice the car product placement. I noticed a Little Caesars box. Always looking out for Little Caesars boxes. And I noticed Tom Holland's NA beer. When he goes like the bodega to grab something, you can see it's like Biro, I think is the name of his company.
Oh, sure.
Non-alcoholic beer. I don't know if I talked about this with you or Casey. I'm actually fine with product placement because our lives are filled with product placement. And honestly, it kind of lends a bit of like verisimilitude. Like the real world is filled with real Pepsi machines, not a cola machine.
Right. Kind of I also don't mind. I don't think anything was terribly egregious in this movie. Like in rewatching all of the Spider-Man movies in Far From Home. All of the gorgeous shots of all of the like Mercedes-Benz cars. There's a million like car commercial car shots as the cars are running through the racing through the streets of Europe or whatnot. That to me makes me roll my eyes a lot. Because it's always the exact same shot of like sweeping past the car that just comes from a car commercial. So none of these in this movie bothered me as much as doesn't bother.
honestly, like, for me, see some.
So, as long as they don't go, like they're
like take a. Oh man, this a diet Dr. Pepper sure is hitting the spot.
like one of my favorite examples is what was the Kevin Spacey as a politician?
When he's playing his PS Vita.
Hey, what's he got there? Why is that a PlayStation Vita? I heard the graphics on that are just as comparable to a PlayStation 3. And like this, I am not exaggerating, by the way. Yeah. He has an entire 2 lines dedicated to how great the PS Vita is.
Yeah, that is good stuff.
Which, by the way, I agree with. The PS Vita was great.
Listen, one thing that us and Kevin Spacey agree on, there's nothing else, we promise you. We all love the Vita, though. R.I.P. Gargling, thank you so much. Another donor talking about product placement. Where is Messi in this movie? Sony lied to me. Apparently there was commercials with Spider-Man and Messi. Messi's a famous football player, soccer player.
Okay.
And apparently there was a bunch of ads featuring him and Spider-Man. And people were hoping Messi would be in the movie. But you know what they probably thought? That it'd get a little too messy.
Nice.
I don't know anything about this man, but apparently he's a soccer man that some people like and some people don't like. So... Right. Amazing. R.I.P. Gargling, thanks for another dono. Sony has to realize about making Spider-Man movies. I mean, have you seen Madam Web, a.k.a. the Spider Pepsi movie? That was fun product placement. Do you remember in Madam Web when the big Pepsi sign almost falls on him?
I do remember
that.
Yeah,
that was good.
You know what? I sometimes I think back on watching Madam Web and I just have a little giggle to myself.
Yeah. Well, it was a really silly movie. Why did they make this?
This was a bad idea. This was like 100% of a bad idea.
Like, do you think they realized the first day on set, like, oh, this isn't going to be great. This is going to be, this is actually be a pretty bad movie.
Like they get done filming like the first couple of takes of the first scene and everybody looks at each other and goes, we're on the same page here. Minimum effort. Great. All right.
Yeah.
All of our paychecks cleared. Minimum effort. Let's go.
All right. Let's enjoy ourselves. R.I.P. Gargling, thank you so much. Quentin Tarantino had a cameo in Spider-Man Brand New Day where he directed a specific scene of the movie. This led to Tom Holland showing feet in front of the screen and in 3D, baby. Was there feet in the movie? I don't remember. Oh, I guess maybe in the Russian bathhouse when he's with Yelena. There's one part where he kind of like starts floating and his feet pop up and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then, there you go. It's because Quentin Tarantino likes feet. I don't know if you knew that.
Quentin Tarantino really likes feet.
He's a footman. I don't get it.
I also don't get it. But maybe I think that's part of the thing is like the fact that no one else gets it. It's like, oh, this makes me get it even more. I don't know.
It's a double get it.
I don't
and then R.I.P. Gargling, thank you so much with the last dono. Can we get ice cream too? Sure. Everyone can get ice cream. In theaters now, The Ice Cream Man. I don't know if it's in theaters.
I don't believe it's in theaters yet. If you have the ability to get ice cream and you are not allergic to lactose, or just take a Lactaid. Take a Lactaid and
easy peasy. Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Just get yourself an ice cream. It's great.
Yeah. It's wonderful. That's it. That's the last super chat. I don't know. What is it like to finish an episode in a normal amount of time?
I'm a little nervous. I don't know what to do with the rest of my day. I guess I'll go back to work for a little bit. We're streaming later today. I'm going to stream from 3 to 5. We're going to stream that new Big Walk game.
Yes. That is the follow-up to Untitled Goose Game. Same devs as that. It is I'm not using it pejoratively. It's kind of like a multiplayer friend slappy game, but people have described it to me as what if Breath of the Wild exploration and puzzles were multiplayer? And I'm like,
yes.
This is intriguing. I'm intrigued by this.
We are going to stream that. Normally, this is a time slot in which I am streaming with Jenna Stieber. She has yet to get back to me. So I know she was at Gen Con last weekend. So maybe she's still there buying even more Magic cards. Though we had that conversation last year at Gen Con, and I told her not to get into it, and she got into it anyway. Oh, I got it. We got to have a talk. Yeah. She got in deep.
There you go.
So she's in debt to Big Magic the Gathering.
Big Magic. But yeah, that'll be at in about 90 minutes, 3 p.m.
In about 90 minutes. So some of us will be streaming. I'll be there. Marty will be there. Some other people may or may not be there. We don't know.
This is all Schrodinger's Jenna. But before we end, we did have more super chats, and I did miss one by Sussy Guru.
What?
Sussy Guru reminded me. Thank you so much for your super chat. I apologize for missing it. With a €10 dono. Thank you so much. One review I've watched basically said that the Hulk / Punisher / secret villain are in there because they are thematic mirrors to Spider-Man. They all have monsters inside that they need to contend with. Could you not make that argument about every superhero? I'm not trying to like. I get it. When you look at those three characters, you're like, oh yeah, they are like all three of those characters have monsters inside. But like, doesn't everyone?
Now replace that with literally any other three heroes or villains.
The Thunderbolts. They all have monsters inside. Yeah. Monsters. Honestly, the original Avengers, they all kind of have monsters inside. Yeah.
So like I think like that is an accurate statement. I think that is a narrative stretch, a thematic stretch. I think I am looking at this more cynically, like specifically with the Hulk, who did not need to be there. Like there are so many characters within Spider-Man's universe that could have filled that role. And also I think that the fighting the Hulk was an unnecessary addition. I think it was a really fun set piece, but it was generally unnecessary. That could have been a really fun Punisher versus Spider-Man fight in which like Spider-Man was trying to take out the Punisher without hurting him. The Punisher was going in and out of consciousness, and it could have streamlined things a little bit more. Again, giving more time to the character moments, the Spider-Man moments. I'm talking negatively a lot about this movie, but I really genuinely did like it. I liked it so much. I wanted it to be better.
Yeah, I think you could. I feel like, I hope at least people can hear the difference between the way we talk about like Supergirl, which is just a movie that didn't work for us on a lot of levels, and something like this, which is a movie that did work on a lot of levels, but because of the character and because of its highs, we're like, we wish your average was closer to the highs as opposed to being average with a lot of the lows. Yeah.
Like, you know, this is nowhere near as egregious as Deadpool and Wolverine, which was all cameo and no story, in my opinion. But to me, like, this is a byproduct of that. This is a byproduct of Wolverine versus Deadpool, where the higher ups say, oh, the more crossovers we shove into these things, the better they do. And unfortunately, this is helping prove that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then Fungus Finder, thank you so much, a $2 dono. Talk about One Piece for 30 minutes. Marineford, let me tell you, shit is getting so real. If I watch one episode, I gotta watch another one. It'd be rude not to watch another one. It's great. Jack, I'm on episode 475.
Okay.
It's a lot of episodes, and I still got like a solid like 700 left to go.
That's insane.
But it's good. He stretches. It's fun that he stretches. I think that's
fun that he stretches. By the way, here's what I got to say. Knowing very little about One Piece, like my kids were really into One Piece at one point, so I learned a lot about it. I saw the Netflix, at least season 1 of the Netflix series, and I really enjoyed it. I've read a couple of the mangas just to kind of get a better idea. I really like that world. I think that I like the idea, almost the cowboy existence of we're just out in the open wilderness, and hopefully we can find a small bastion of civilization. Maybe something will happen, maybe it won't. I dig that world, and I'm glad that it's so much in the zeitgeist because I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool, and it's got a good message. He wants to help people achieve their dreams. That's a good thing. We should be helping people achieve their dreams. Jack, aside from the stream in a little under 90 minutes, what do you got going on? There's an Adventurous Night this weekend.
That's right. This Saturday, new episode of Adventurous Night. I believe we're on episode 7. This is after the last episode. They met up with the dwarves, kind of found out what the dwarves were up to, and then they teleported close to the Cave of Something to start looking for Vorothax and Sebastian Piss. Very exciting. A couple of episodes coming up. So new Adventures Night this Saturday. I will be back streaming on Thursday. Me and Jess Hoops. I will be running through, or at least attempting to run through, a Dark Souls 1 randomizer.
Very excited for this.
It's so I played around with it a little bit. It is so stupid. I'm doing an enemy randomizer, which means any normal enemy can be replaced by any other normal enemy, and any boss can be replaced by any other boss. All pickups, weapon drops are randomized. So I could end up incredibly overpowered, or I could end up very weak at the beginning. So much fun.
Hell yeah. I feel like that's the game you could do it with. Even if you're underpowered, you at least have the muscle memory of that game. Although
Exactly.
this will throw a wrench in that because your muscle memory will get thrown out the window.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's on Thursday.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and then we'll have normal streams the rest of the week. Fully Ramblematic tomorrow will be on Splatoon. Yahtzee's already said that. Him and I are going to be recording one of those post Ramblematics, so that should be up probably later tomorrow. Check that out. And then normal streams the rest of the week. We'll have Firelink. We'll have Casey and I tomorrow night, and all that good stuff. Probably no Unpacked at the end. Well, no Unpacked at the end of this week. Nick is in the process of moving, so Nick's not going to be on the podcast this week, and no Unpacked, but he should be all settled in next week, and all that stuff should pop back up. So yeah, thanks everyone. Tune in live. Appreciate you hanging out. Obviously a little shorter of an episode, but glad we could just focus on Spider-Man. We'll be back. I guess we'll have to figure out, because we shifted which weeks we do this, and I guess we have to figure out if we're going to keep the shift, because we shifted to be able to do these episodes shortly after the Odyssey and Spider-Man. We'll talk with Darren and see if we're going to keep the shift or if we're going to go back to the odd week, if whatever works better for anyone. We'll figure all that out. But yeah, thank you everyone who watched live in YouTube, anyone listening on your podcast service of choice, watching the VOD, of course, all of our amazing patrons. We appreciate each and every one of you. So for Eric, Darren, and Jack, this was Marty. This was the Rewind episode number 51. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesdays, and hopefully we'll see you in a little bit over an hour with Big Walk. Bye, everyone.
I'm eating ice cream. Nom, 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 nom,
oh, there's ice cream. Where did this come from?
nom,
I don't know where.
nom.
Where do I put it? Where do I don't know how to do it. I don't know where it is in the room. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.